The topic of fate and free will is very complicated in many ways. In fact, there are modern academics, Sam Harris being probably one of the more famous ones, that deem free will as really just being an illusion. It's not real. Certainly one could understand this perspective. What if you had no control at all over what you were going to do next? What if it was all just an illusion? What if you're simply on a train, a passenger on a train that is chugging along, you have no control, you simply must follow the tracks. But you trick yourself, like a child, into believing that you were actually steering and driving that train. It's something that's really worth thinking about for a while. That is, in a nutshell, what having no free will sounds like. It may seem in many ways like the idea of fate. Fate is often seen as this preordained path that the cosmos created for us, and that everything that happens is all part of a grand cosmic plan. You might hear some religious folks say God's plan. However, the Stoics viewed fate as a natural thing that exists in nature. That's what natural means, right? It isn't supernatural per se at all. There's this idea in science of cause and effect. This exists in nature. This isn't some voodoo stuff. Simply put, something happens that causes something else to happen. We can understand this concept with some simple examples. Let's go through a few. If you open a door really fast, it will produce wind on the other side of that door due to the pressure differentiation. The wind is the effect, and the cause is the door opening fast. Cause and effect. Here's another example. If you throw a rock into a pond, it'll create ripples in the surface of the water. So the cause is, well, you throwing the rock and it going down through the water, and then the effect is ripples. You can do that every time, and it should work out to being about the same. Of course, there's variations in how this is going to play out in the real world, but overall, you're going to see similarities in terms of the effect from the cause of dropping a rock into some water. Is that fate? It may not be in the way that most people think about fate, but it is in the way that the Stoics thought about fate, at least in some part. Now let's take that and expand it into something a little more complicated, right? If you go out into the street and you call someone an idiot, the chances go up that you're going to start a fight with this person. The chances go up that that interaction that follows after you calling someone an idiot is not going to be a pro-social one. Cause, you are rude. Effect, they are rude back. In fact, in Newtonian physics, there's this Newton's third law, which states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's something like this idea that exists in nature. The Christians may say that we reap what we sow, which is a Christian phrase that I particularly like. Of course, in Stoicism, we deem ourselves in complete control of how we react to all situations that life gives us. That is the whole ethos of the Stoic doctrine, the dichotomy of control. However, that doesn't mean that you can go do whatever you want and expect no consequences. This is a very important point. In other words, you can't be rude on the street to someone and then say, well, they're Stoic, so they should follow Stoic philosophy. Remember that you must first maximize your agency. Are you doing everything within your power to make this exchange pro-social? And then you get to use the excuse of it's outside of my control. In fact, this is the best way of understanding fate and free will in Stoicism. Fate is what all externals do. And free will is how you react to what those externals do. Here are some examples. Someone pushes you down physically. You get to decide how you land. You get to decide how you stand back up. And more importantly, you get to decide how you deal with that situation, how you let that affect your character, what actions you do following that. Here's another example. Your mother dies. That's fate. That's something that's definitely going to happen at some point. You get to decide how you plan the funeral, how you choose to remember her and honor her, and most importantly, how you let that affect your character. Are you going to use that to be depressed for the rest of your life, or are you going to grieve properly and then get on with life, which we all have to do?